Welcome to Gun Tradition. I'm Jordy and I'm with my brother Jeremiah here today. Tomorrow's Independence Day, so what better way to celebrate than shooting a bunch of guns? And specifically, rapid fire shooting. We're working on rapid fire today. Rapid fire is when you shoot absolutely your max speed as quick as you can get your front sight or your red dot back on target. That's your rapid fire, and the speed is a little different for everybody. And the whole purpose of rapid fire is you're going to start a little slow. You're working on your speed, building up that rapid fire speed, which really increases your overall shooting reflex and your speed of target acquisition, which is one of the primary skills for all marksmanship. So I just had a quick question. I noticed you changed your tempo up really big in the first couple shots.
Right, so the first couple of shots, I was just kind of getting used to the trigger on here, figuring it out and whatnot. After I got used to the trigger, I was able to make sure I got that full front sight picture on the target and was able to squeeze off those rounds as quick as I could.
Yep. At first you got a little bit ahead of yourself and you lost your sight picture after a couple of shots. You kind of drifted out, and so you intentionally slowed down and brought it back, and then you kind of built up a rhythm after that.
Right, correct. That's really what I did. Once I got that sight picture locked down, then I was ready to go.
Okay, now we're going to go over some of the points of the rapid fire skills and techniques, just how to keep that tempo up and how to stay on target more naturally. So the points of marksmanship, yes, I have notes. I want to make sure I get these things right. Number one is your general marksmanship principles. That's your stance, your poise, your position and posture, your footing, and the way you hold the rifle. And that's about the biggest point, because if you don't get that basics, you can never get into anything advanced. You're going to be way too sloppy and all over the place. You're going to be too inconsistent to be able to rapid fire with any level of accuracy whatsoever. Describe for people how you hold the rifle when you usually pick it up and you're ready to shoot. Just describe what you're doing.
Once you go in to shoot the gun, you want to make sure you got that good solid grip, so you're going to pull it into your shoulder. When you're grabbing the gun, make sure you got a good hand, I guess you can refer to it as like a firm handshake. Like if you're giving someone a firm handshake, make sure you got that good grip on the trigger, everything. When you got that front hand up in the front, just to keep the barrel from hopping too much and whatnot, pull it in nice and close to your shoulder, and make sure you got a good front sight picture. Make sure you're staying safe.
So the first point is this rear hand, your firing hand, is the first point. That's your first point of contact with the rifle. And you want to have that good grip on the gun, but let me grab this for a second. Yep. You want to make sure that when you hold it, you're not holding it with a lazy grip, and by that I mean coming too far back, kind of holding it way back here. You want to have your grip up tight and a little closer to that trigger. If you're reaching way too far to get to the trigger, a lot of people do that with this lazy grip, you're pushing the trigger one way or the other a bit too much when you're going to pull the trigger. You want to be up tight towards the trigger guard with your firing hand, firm, tight grip, pulling it into your shoulder. This hand is only for support and redirecting the rifle as you're moving when you're shooting. This hand doesn't really pull it in. This is just for support. So, firm grip, pull it into the shoulder. I'm going to pull it in my shoulder and the cheek, support it, and getting ready to fire.
Thank you.
Hold the rifle, take up a nice stance. And now your posture. Your posture is going to be somewhat squatted down, which is going to make your torso lean forward just a tad, but you don't want to actually just lean forward. Just kind of compact down, get just a little squatted so you can absorb the recoil and you can move when you need to move. Hold up the rifle, pull it into your shoulder good. Make sure you're not too far back on the grip there, and I would even say maybe bend down just slightly more, tiny bit. Not to where it just feels too awkward, but enough to where you're kind of hunkered in there and you can work with the recoil. I know this rifle doesn't have much recoil though. The last point is pushing the front sight. That's the mentality, the mindset that I have to use to describe it. You're pushing that front sight back on the target. It starts to drift, push it back on. You start to drift this way, you're pushing it back on. And the second you see that sight coming up against your target again, pull the trigger. Because you're pushing it through your target as you're moving. You start shooting kind of when you first touch the target. You end up hitting about the middle of it. This is about speed. As soon as your front sight starts to touch your target, pull that trigger. And you're pushing it back on every time. If it goes up from recoil, pull it down. If you go left, push it over, push it over. So we're going to do this again as quickly as he can. Think hyped up, a little bit overly caffeinated, very fast. But every shot has to hit that milk jug in order to count.
All right, let's get it. That's it.
Looks like you hit it at least most of the time.
Yeah.
I tried to count it. It was hard to count, but you shot 20 rounds in there between the two magazines. It looks like there's 20 holes in there.
Yeah.
Now, I know what you guys are saying. It's just too easy to rapid fire a little Ruger 10/22. There's no recoil to it. Well, I've got my 12 gauge here, and I'm shooting my game loads in it. That's going to have about 15 and a half, 16 pounds of recoil versus the 0.3 pounds of recoil that 10/22 has. So this is going to suddenly be much harder to keep on target. This is about the same recoil I get out of a 30-06. It's got an extra full choke on it. I am going to rapid fire that target as fast as I can at this distance. I got a jam. Same thing, the last round didn't go in. Spring's weak, I think. All right, now we're gonna have Jeremiah do the same thing with the 12 gauge and just work on those rapid fire principles. Now, I don't know how familiar he is here with the pump action. I have found a lot of the more modern tactical minded guys don't know how to operate a basic old fashioned pump action shotgun. So this would be good.
I should be able to do it just fine. I've gone duck hunting. I know how to work a pump. Hopefully.
This gun is getting hot. Whew. All right, safety there.
Oh, I got a jam on that last round.
Every last round is jamming. Means the spring's wearing out from the 50s.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can take it and stretch them out and get a little more.
I got it.
Despite the fact that this old shotgun doesn't want to feed the last round, I guess I need to get a new spring in the magazine tube. Despite that, it's pretty easy to, ooh, that's hot, pretty easy to keep this thing on target with that rapid fire. I mean, I know you shot a little slower than me, but not bad. I mean, I've been shooting this since I was 14, so this is my baby. I got this booger good.
Yeah.
But rapid fire, it's not just to go out and blow holes in things and waste your ammo real quick. You can definitely do that. You can do that too much. But when you're doing the rapid fire, it forces you more than ever before to get back on target, to get that front sight back on your target insanely fast without any hesitation and pull that trigger. And that's the whole point. Now once again, since that was basically no recoil, we're going back to the 12 gauge, but instead of those light target game loads, I've got an assortment from high brass heavy pheasant loads up to double-aught buckshot and 1-ounce slugs. So we're going to be ranging from about 25 foot-pounds to about 35 foot-pounds of recoil in this shotgun now, which is suddenly getting a bit intense.
Just a little bit.
And I'm going to start with the heaviest ones first to make it harder to get back on target. So this one is a real training trick because every shot is different recoil and they're all high recoil in the first place. So this is going to be interesting.
Alrighty folks, so if I had to guess, we're standing at 13 to 15 yards right now. As Jordy said, we're sending some high velocity rounds downrange into the jug. So it's going to be really making sure I'm able to get that sight picture and keep on target with it. So here we go.
Okay, the spring is bad.
Ouch.
I find it funny how the wad's stuck in the log.
Yeah.
All right, we definitely made some Swiss cheese out of this jug. It's not going to hold any water anytime soon. Do you think you learned anything from this?
I did. I definitely did. So you always got these techniques that like you have in mind before you start shooting, but you know, some of them can slide out the door pretty easily. So it's always pretty good, you know, just to sit down with some people and talk about it and make sure you're really hitting those bullet points, and staying up to date with your shooting and skills and whatnot.
Yeah. If you don't go back and recover and recall the basics, you're going to end up forgetting them. All right, well, thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned a little something about rapid fire, the techniques for it, and why we do it. Don't forget to click like if you like the video, and look around for more good information. I'll catch you later. Bye now.
Adios.
Hey folks, if you like my videos, I'd appreciate it if you consider giving me a subscribe. That'll help me get closer to monetizing this channel, which will help me to be able to fix this old shotgun and get it running again reliably. So, thanks a lot, and I appreciate it.